A new expert file research report examines academic expertise in the media and the value and benefit of increased media engagement. Dr. David Thomas is a professor of forensic studies and criminal justice at Florida Gulf Coast University and a senior research fellow with the Police Foundation. He's a veteran police officer specializing in mental health, police and minority relations, active shooters, and mass casualties. Dr. Thomas, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Law enforcement and the media have a symbiotic relationship of sorts. While both have common goals, sometimes their priorities differ. But now, in your academic career, what are the hesitations you see in your colleagues with regards to working with journalists and the media?
Right now, I really, believe it or not, I don't have any. I think it's an opportunity for me, as both having been a practitioner and now being on the academic side. The reality for me is that I think that I can tell the truth and give, and it has some meaning, and there's some honesty associated with it without all the hype. And I've gotten in trouble for that. I've been blasted. I was on the PBS NewsHour, and I was with against another. Really, it was really a debate, so to speak, with another professor from Georgetown University, and I just refused to be the angry black man, and I tried to be the cop and the pragmatist in this. And so I laid out my argument. And so I got lambasted in social media and by social media, which is fine. But the truth, if there's no logical voice to this, then all you do is you just fuel the fire and the anger. So that's what I try to do.
Well, holding your ground takes a certain skill set, and speaking to a widespread media audience like newspapers or television, it can be quite stressful. How do you prepare? How did you become so comfortable talking with the media?
Oh, God, believe it or not, it started maybe 30 years ago. And a chief would say, "Hey, we got something coming up. I want you to talk to the media." In Gainesville, here at the Gainesville Police Department, the chief would every now and then would have something special and ask me to go talk to the media or appear on the TV show and represent the department. And then the Police Foundation, under the old president, they started getting me into TV a lot and and radio. And after that, it was just a natural transition from just doing something every day, like an everyday talk.
And what would you say that engagement with journalists has allowed you to do in your academic work, and how has it impacted the university and the community at large?
My academic work means that my research has to be spot on. And it means that I have to, like every interview you have to prepare for. Because normally I just get, "Hey, we're going to talk about," the last one I did dealt with SWAT teams and hostage negotiators. Well, I've been a member of both. And so I had to sit back and kind of think and kind of, go back. And there are times where I literally have to do some research, like if we're talking about serial homicide or some of the other subjects that I deal in. And you have to, you come prepared and ready to sit at the table and have those discussions. What it does for the university, my belief is that if you come off sounding truthful and honest, and your research is honest, then I think what it does for the university is it gives the university a sound reputation. And not just in the local community, but I think, and I know because we've been everywhere, that it does around the world.
Well, there's no shortage of misinformation, disinformation, and public discourse at this particular juncture. How important is it for journalists on the other side of the coin to include academics like you as sources?
Well, you can believe the hype and the fake news, or you can go to the resources that actually do the work or have done the work and ask them to put it on the line. And know that when you think about law enforcement in general, because that's where I seem to spend the majority of my time is talking about police, there's no love for law enforcement, none whatsoever in this country. And so the idea that I'm coming from a whole different venue, I've paid my dues, I'm coming from a different venue, that adds credibility. But it also means that there are days where I have to be, I'm brutally honest. And so when law enforcement they've done bad things, I will tell you that they've done bad things. When they've done good things, I will tell you that they've done good things and why. And when those things are gray areas, like what we would like to call lawful but awful, like a bad the shooting that one community might think is bad, but then when you really look at it, the officers had no choice, then that's where you really get crucified for it. But I think, again, that voice is necessary.
I would imagine that during this time, you must be called upon regularly.
At one point, it was 3 or 4 times a day. After the George Floyd incident, it was 3 or 4 times a day for a month. And it just continues. There's something that happens, and every time I have my friends are chiefs and sheriffs, and so every time we sit down and have lunch, that becomes the fodder for discussion. Can you believe that this happened? And how upset they are that these guys are making such bad decisions.
Well, when it comes to the university supporting their staff to work with the journalists, are they doing enough? Are there steps that they could take to do better in this regard?
It depends on the president and what the president wants. If the president wants the university's footprint to be a much larger footprint than just that which is local, then the university will step out and they will support it wholeheartedly. And if they trust their experts, like my university, Florida Gulf Coast, has done a pretty good job of recruiting experts that we have. I mean, there's the gamut from water to where I am to Heather, who does forensics. But I mean, they've really done a great job of recruiting, and because they want our footprint to be there, they want the university to be noted. So you have to decide, especially my university's small, it's only 15,000 students. We're not the University of Michigan, University of Florida, we have over 50,000 students. So media means a lot if the university supports it, but it has to come from the president and whatever that agenda is. And I have to say that at our school, our president actually likes, even when we get on their interviews and we kind of banter or we argue, he loves that because it shows that the discourse is good for the public in general.
Well, I think it's also good that academics and people from the general public get to interact with each other as well and gain from the knowledge.
I would agree with that 100%. I had a thing with the Fort Myers Police Department for 3 years. They got a new chief, but it was full of corruption prior to him getting there. And that's where Florida Gulf Coast University is located. And for 3 years, I spent nothing but just tearing the department apart. So I'm getting calls from the community. Oh my God, Dr. Thomas, we're so thankful because, we are actually listening. And I'm not thinking that anybody really cares, but they literally are paying attention to what comes out. So if you say it, then we believe what comes out of your mouth. But if it's coming out of City Hall, or if it's coming out of the police department, there's nothing good that comes from there. So, yeah.
Well, separating fact from fiction to get accurate information out there and helping to dispel the misinformation is certainly a step in the right direction. Dr. Thomas, thanks so much for sharing your experience.
You're welcome.